Well, everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat here. I'm going to go through real quick on the big 6 or 7 fintech stocks. A lot of them I own, a couple of them which I don't. A lot of people ask about SoFi. I do have a pretty decent position in SoFi. The thing is, I'm not really interested in selling here, because I think that even though things are way overextended, even though I think that a cool-off is reasonable, even though I think that there's a little bit of a sign for some exhaustion here, because you can see the weekly Bollinger Band on the lower part of it starting to curl up, right? So you know that there's a little bit of sign exhaustion. It's just kind of taking its break, right? Can it just take its break and then make another high up to like $19, and then that could end up having a pretty strong correction after that? It can, but I just don't really want to like trade in and out, because I really don't know if I sell here, even though it has a little bit of an exhaustion look to it, where am I going to buy back? I actually don't know the answer to that. One reason is if you look at the GAN level that I have here, and this GAN level is based on, let me see, I think it's based on, let me draw this a little bit better. So it's based on 360 and 0.05. And you can see that I've used this GAN level before, and it's been showing some pretty remarkable market symmetry, where this arc over here means something, the horizontal line here means something, right? Came back down, back tested the angle over here, bounced perfectly from that, went up, pushed through this arc here, got rejected, came back down to this arc, got supported, and it's just kind of hovering and trying to break through this arc here again for almost the entire year, just not able to do so until you have some volume really coming in over the last few months, and that volume was really able to kind of help us to push through and get a lot higher, right? That's basically what SoFi has been doing now. When it pushes through the arc here, already backtested the arc, decided wanted to go push up to higher, also backtest the angle over here, decided it just want to keep pushing up higher, push through the arc up here as well, and right now it's just been basically backtesting this arc here. So there's really nothing on the can here that is telling me that something bad is going to happen. It could end up consolidating sideways over here for a little longer before the next leg up to maybe like 19, or it could end up breaking down underneath the arc here and just kind of consolidating sideways here around $14. Which is not a bad thing to do, because price have been hovering around this level here for a very long time. And if it decided to kind of cool off right around here, around the angle, around the horizontal, that's not the end of the world, actually. I think it's actually pretty healthy for it to do that. But I'm still not really interested in like selling and buying, because this is still a very, very big parabolic bull trend, especially on the monthly, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit. Another thing, too, that makes me skeptical about wanting to sell is really if you, let me see here, well, not so much from the top here, but let me draw a Fibonacci level from here, from this peak over here to this bottom over here, right? And I'm going to add a Fib level here, which is the 1.414. You can see that from the top here in July 2023 to the bottom over here in August 2024, if you do a Fib sequence, you can see that basically it's broken through the 1.414, and it's basically just back testing that level, right? Confluent with the arc over here. So there's a lot of kind of resistance in that level that has turned into support level, is just basically kind of back testing it. These things don't look bearish to me, and that's a big part of the reason why I just don't want to sell out, because it can just keep going higher. There's not really any reason for me to think that it's just going to stop here, right? It could go sideways, and you can have a loss opportunity here if you're one of those folks that are interested in chasing the next thing. Yeah, there's a possibility. So if I just kind of go sideways and go down to like 14-ish down here in the arc, but that's just one possibility. It doesn't always have to be, working out that way, right? The monthly Bollinger Band is just way overextended, which is also another reason why I think that it could come back down to like 14 to at least touch the upper Bollinger Band before going up higher. But there's nothing bearish about the way that it looks. Like 20-month moving average is curling up strongly. The upper and lower Bollinger Band continues to expand. But I can see going back down to like 14.3 would be something healthy to do. Does it want to be healthy? Does it want to eat salad, or does it want to eat fried chicken? I don't know. I mean, fried chicken is pretty good too. So there's always a possibility that it just doesn't touch up a Bollinger Band, just go sideways, wait for next month here before going higher. But that's kind of what I'm seeing here with SoFi. Nothing bearish, but just sideways consolidation that can really kind of maybe upset a lot of people. Just kind of put it that way. Affirm, what's Affirm doing? Affirm is not as overextended as SoFi, but it's still a little bit overextended. Upper Bollinger Band here on the monthly is $65.24, right? So we are a little bit overextended. It would be healthy for it to touch it, but does it have to be healthy? Does it really want to eat salad? I don't know. Look, looking at the weekly, it's also looking like it's starting to kind of exhaust here a little bit, right? What's going on? Well, are we hitting any kind of major resistance level? Well, the answer is yes, right? We are hitting the linear 0.382 level over here. And this whole uptrend over here is starting to show a little bit of sign of exhaustion because you have the increasing volume initially here that caused a breakout of this arc. You're starting to have some declining volume over here as after it broke through the arc and hit the 0.382. So it wants to stop at 0.382. Here, take a break. Does it take a break by going back down here to the high 50s to the mid 50? Entirely possible. That would also be a healthy thing if it ends up doing that. And it would get a lot of people really scared because you're talking about really like a 15-20% move down, right? With a stock like Affirm, if it moves 15-20% down, it's really no big deal. Like it's just pushed up like it almost like doubled from September to December. So going down like 15-20%, back testing the arc over here is really not that big of a deal. But does it have to do that? No, it doesn't. It can always just kind of hovering underneath the 0.382 and just kind of push through, right? All it takes is just a little bit of volume to kind of come in for it to do that. I do think that $92 is going to be a very, very important zone. And I think that that's probably going to be the next target that we hit. We are at resistance. You should be a little bit more cautious. But this is the this is a linear scale. Log scale, it already broke above the 0.618, right? Is it the end of the world that comes back down and back tests 0.618 around $55.73? No, this is actually going to be a bullish thing if it does that, because it's going to bounce off of a very, very powerful fib level and it's going to go up to the next fib level if it ends up doing that, right? Or you can just keep on grabbing up towards the next fib level here on the log scale, which is 0.786, the very, very important 0.786, which is $92.50. If it breaks through that, then you're talking about some potential all-time high stuff. If it breaks through 0.786, then I think that there's a good likelihood that Affirm can just break through the arc and just go a lot higher. But right now we are at resistance, and right now the bull trend seems to be a little bit exhausted. So I would not buy Affirm here. I'm just going to stay put and just keep watching it. If it comes back down to the 50s, yeah, we'll talk about it then. Right? Shopify has really surprised me. It just kind of broke through the 0.786 and it's been hovering up around the 0.786. I'm still not entirely convinced about this move. That's definitely there's a possibility where it can kind of come back and kind of break down here a little bit. I'm still a little bit skeptical, right? Because on the linear, you are hitting 0.618 Fibonacci level resistance, right? Which means that if you're not able to break through here on the linear, then you could come back down to 0.5 or even potentially lower. And there's always a possibility for it to do that. The reason why I say that is because on the monthly here, it depends on what scale you look at. If you look at the linear scale, it's stuck underneath the 0.618 fib level. It could get stuck there for a while. On log scale, it looks like it already claimed the 0.786. So it's just kind of stuck in range, right? As far as I'm concerned. The thing that got me the most concerned is it kind of broke through the Ichimoku cloud over here like butter. And there's a good chance that it come back down to the Ichimoku cloud and back test the Ichimoku cloud. It doesn't have to do that. But it gets me a little bit concerned. This is why I'm not buying Shopify here at these levels, right? I already have a position. My cost average is like in the high 40s, but like I don't really want to buy here because it looks like it's hitting resistance. Here it looks like support, but even the if you look at 0.618, it looks like we're hitting resistance, right? So why would I want to buy that, right? Could come back down here to 0.5 to $100, come down a little bit lower here, back test the Ichimoku cloud here before pushing them a lot higher. I can totally see that happening, right? But it's just something that is, getting me a little bit concerned here. But I do see a big confluent zone of strong support here on the upper 90s. So if it does get back down there, if I, for whatever reason, feel compelled to buy more Shopify, that might be the area for me to, start loading up again. And that would be really sucking for my cost average. But, sometimes it doesn't matter if it's a bull trend. If it's a good opportunity, it doesn't matter. But anyway, Robinhood. If you're looking at Robinhood, why are we kind of go sideways here for a little bit here? Well, there's really no reason. I think that $40 is a good psychological level. I think you have enough volume for you to kind of push price up higher to maybe even like $45.50, which is going to be the GAN horizontal level here as well as 0.786. That would be a very strong resistance level, and that would also be a very strong psychological resistance level around $50, right? If you're looking at the linear, this is a log scale. If you look at the linear, you have broken about the 0.382, right? So right now there are a few ways to kind of think about it. It could gravitate up to the 50, or it can come back down to this confluence zone around 0.382, which is the linear, retracement level. That's going to be very important, as well as the arc up here. It can either go up or it can go down. I know it's not very helpful for you, but either way, it's a strong bull trend. It's a hold for me. I'm not going to add anymore, especially if it just hits 50. I'm definitely not going to add anymore. If it comes back down here to the mid 30s, and if I don't have a position, I do have a position. My cost average is like $12, so I'm not going to want to buy. But if it comes back down to some of the confluent, support levels down here below, it might intrigue me. I guess is what I'm trying to say. But that's kind of what I'm thinking about Robinhood here. Now, PayPal is a little bit of, how do I say that? I would not buy PayPal here. Why wouldn't I buy PayPal here? The reason why I wouldn't buy PayPal here is, number one, it looks like the uptrend here is a little bit exhausted. You can see that by the Bollinger Band contraction. It's really kind of losing its momentum here. It's also hitting the GAN arc resistance here, right? So there are a few things that are making me thinking, maybe I shouldn't enter PayPal. It's also a very strong horizontal zone over here where it was initially support here, flipped into resistance, and right now you're back in the same level over here, right around $90. So we are at multiple levels of resistance at the GAN arc as well as at horizontal. That makes me feel a little bit iffy, especially if the Bollinger Band are kind of contracting, right? Especially if you have price kind of going up here on declining volume. So that does get me a little bit more concerned. I'm probably not going to buy PayPal anytime soon, and I'm just going to let it do its thing. But so far, it's a relatively bullish chart. I just think that it needs to take a break from going up straight for 6 months. And it's not a bad idea to form some kind of handle for the cup here before further bullish continuation. It doesn't have to. It can just keep going up like 12 months straight and get up to like the 120s, which is going to be like a pretty, strong target here around like, the 120s, which is basically like the zone over here, right? But I don't really want to buy PayPal here at this level based on volume, based on resistance. So I'm going to leave that alone. Square. What is Square doing? Square is actually not looking bad. It is actually got some pretty high volume breakout into the arc up here. And you have a big volume breakout of this horizontal resistance zone over here around $87 that has been rejected here multiple times over the last 3 years, and you broke through that. So at some point, because of how powerful this is, at some point, I think it would be the most reasonable for it to come back and back test around $87 to $88. I just don't know how far it's going to go up until it does that. Volume looks okay. So far, you haven't. It's only Monday, but you have an inside candle over here, which favor bullish continuation, right? And if you look at the Bollinger Band, it's not really that badly exhausted right now. It's just Bollinger Band just kind of going sideways here, but you can potentially have another candle where it just kind of pushes to the top of the arc here. You could even push through the arc up above to hit the 0.5, which is going to be like a triple digit, square. But I do worry that it's hitting some resistance zone now, and if it does come back and back test the $87 range, or even come back and back test the 0.382 around $83.64, that might be an area that's good to enter. But right now, I just don't really feel like entering Square. It's already, had a pretty parabolic move. It's kind of starting to hit like some resistance levels up here above. So I'm just going to let it do its thing and watch it from afar. Upstart, my final stock to talk about in this video. What do I think about Upstart? Well, I think Upstart is doing what it needs to do. What do I mean by that? Well, Upstart has basically followed the scan here very, very well, right? You can see how this arc here and this arc here means something. You see how this arc here means something, right? Rejected off the arc, rejected off the arc. Eventually we're able to push through the arc here with very, very decent volume, right? Got to the next arc here. Initially you were rejected from the arc and it ended up pushing back into the arc. And it looked like it wanted to fall off last week. It didn't, end up closing back inside. And right now we're just kind of inside the arc here. So we might consolidate sideways here, form another bull flag here inside the arc here for a little bit longer before its next like move up. And the weekly Bollinger Band is expanding, so that's going to allow you to have price kind of go up higher now. Initially, it was just way too far, way too fast, right? So we had to consolidate sideways, form a bull flag, wait for the Bollinger Band to expand. Now, you do have a little bit of exhaustion here because you do have a little bit of a Bollinger Band contraction. But I do think that it probably has enough juice to kind of hit at least like 90s, or maybe like even 105. That's probably going to be the next move. Do I want to buy Upstart here? Probably not. I just don't like the fact that Chase, because there's always a possibility for it to break down again and backtest the 40s. I don't think it has to do that because I think it's got some pretty decent support here. And I think that a lot of the supports are coming here with the weekly Ichimoku Tenkan, with the boomerang support band, rising. So I think you're going to have some support down here to show it needed around 55, right? The upside would be 105 and maybe 94. It's just kind of stuck in the middle for me. So I'm not going to enter it here. If it comes back down, maybe, but if it just keeps on going up to resistance, I'm just going to leave this thing alone, right? Anyway, regardless though, all of these charts that I'm showing you, I'm more talking about like short term, what to expect. I don't even trade these moves. Why do I even talk about them? The reason why I talk about them is so you're not scared. If you're a long-term investor for all of these stocks, I mean, like, I'm just going to turn off these indicators. If you're a long-term investor for all these stocks, just look at the monthly for all of them, right? Just look at a Bollinger Band. 20 months going up here on SoFi, Bollinger Band expansion, bull trend. Affirm, 20-month moving average curling up, looks like the upper Bollinger Band wants to continue to go up, right? Bull trend, right? Shopify, 20-month moving average curling up as support, looks like the upper and lower Bollinger Band are expanding, bull trend, right? Robinhood, the lower Bollinger Band wants to continue just kind of going down here, 20-month moving average pointing up, bull trend, right? PayPal, 20-month moving average curling up, upper and lower Bollinger Band expanding, bull trend, right? Square, 20-month moving average curling up, upper and lower Bollinger Band expansion, right? Bull trend. Upstart, 20-month moving average curling up, upper and lower Bollinger Band expanding. These are bull trends. Like, if you can handle the 20 to 30% volatility that these stocks might bring, I think they're going to do pretty decent for us over the next 12 months or so. That's my message. I'm sticking to it. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Have a good one. Bye.